Breaking news from GoPro. Very soon we'll be seeing not one, but 4 new cameras from them. This was announced during an earnings call last week, which they spent the majority of the time talking about their new camera lineups. And we're not just talking about the GoPro Hero White, Silver, and Black editions. This is something that they've actually stopped after the Hero 7, but that was when they had one GoPro that was basically stripped down at different price points. And they're not talking about that. They're talking about having 4 very distinct different cameras that are not the Swiss Army knife solution. So they want cameras for different scenarios. And this is something that, if you've been watching our channel for a while, we've been talking about for a long time. We've been wanting not just one GoPro for all the needs, but different GoPros to fill a variety of scenarios. So what kind of cameras can we expect? Well, this is pure speculation, but we can make some pretty good guesses. The first one is probably going to be a revamped GoPro Hero 10, which will be the GoPro Hero 11. And this is because this is still the star of the show in terms of marketing at least. Everybody knows this camera, so they're definitely going to have to make a newer version of the Hero 10. The next camera will probably be a revamped GoPro Hero Max, and that's their 360 camera, which is turning 3 years old this year, so it's ripe for a refresh, and we're probably going to be seeing a newer 360 camera coming from GoPro. We personally don't use that camera. We've been opting for the Insta360, which is honestly a really great 360 camera. So I think that there are some things that GoPro can learn from Insta360, so hopefully we see all of that incorporated in their new version of a 360 camera. So those first 2 cameras will probably be really familiar to us, but the last 2 cameras get really interesting. And so the first camera that I think that they're going to announce will be a newer version of the GoPro Hero Session. Now, the Session was beloved by a lot of people because it was so small and really easy to use. And GoPros have been getting progressively more complicated as they introduce new features. And so some people like that, and other people don't want all the bells and whistles. They don't care for the front-facing screen, for example, or a lot of the extra tech that's been going into the newer GoPros. A lot of people want the original Session, which was really straightforward and super easy to use. Now, I don't have a Session here with me, but it's really similar to the DJI Action 2 in size and functionality. The one thing, though, that the Action 2 did get wrong, in my opinion, is not adding a memory card slot to this little camera. Instead, you have to add the secondary mod to have that SD card slot. Although this camera itself does have some internal storage, which is a nice feature, but if they really wanted to go all the way with this camera, they should have added that memory card slot directly to it. And that's something that the Session did actually get right. So if GoPro can have a new Hero Session that has that memory card slot, revamps a lot of the features, stabilization and resolution especially would be really nice to have, then I think a newer GoPro Hero Session would be really welcome for people looking for a smaller, no-fuss, easy-to-use action camera, as well as FPV drone shooters as well. Another reason why I think we'll see a new GoPro Hero Session-like camera is this little Insta360 Go camera, which I absolutely love because of the size and convenience of it. And this camera has been super popular for people looking for a smaller, easy-to-use camera. And so GoPro is really missing out on that market by not having the Session, so I really think that we're going to see the Session come back this time. And the 4th new GoPro camera that I think that we'll see is a professional level GoPro, which is probably going to be unlike anything that we've ever seen before from GoPro, Insta360, or any of the other action camera brands out there. In their earnings call, GoPro recognizes that a lot of TV and movie professionals are using their cameras to film segments. You may not be seeing pure shows shot on GoPros, but a lot of times there will be B-roll pieces that are using GoPros. And the thing is, GoPros, as we know, are not really made for professionals. You can use it for pro-level work, but there are still features that are lacking or things that can be improved to make it a lot easier for professionals to use this camera. And so I think that GoPro somehow, not sure exactly how, will be introducing a GoPro that is made for professionals. It may be bigger, it may have an entirely different form factor, and it will definitely have a different price point. I'm expecting that to be the most expensive GoPro out there, but I think that we'll be seeing that very soon. With that said, GoPro does say that all 4 cameras will be based on existing GoPro technology, meaning they're not going to be inventing new technology per se, but they'll just be making derivatives of one GoPro to fit different scenarios and user needs. Now, a really interesting question is, will any of these cameras be modular? We've been seeing modular cameras come out from DJI as well as Insta360, but you can argue that those cameras haven't really taken off. They have some user base, but for the most part, it hasn't been a widely adopted model of action camera. So will GoPro go down the modular route? And I actually would love to see GoPro do that. I know some people, such as Martin, don't want to see a modular GoPro, but I think that having a modular GoPro could actually be really nice. If we could have like the Hero Session be the base camera that we can use for on-the-go action, but if we want to add that front-facing screen, then we just have a mod to click into it. And if we want to have a 360 camera, then perhaps we could have this mod attached to it, such as Insta360 does on the One R. Or if we want better low light capabilities, we can swap it out for the 1-inch sensor. I think that having a modular GoPro could be a really interesting thing, and it could be really useful for a lot of users out there. And in some ways, it's not so far-fetched because GoPro does have existing mods. They have, the media mod for adding the 3.5mm mic jack, as well as the micro HDMI port, and even a built-in microphone. They also have, the lens mod for getting super wide-angle shots, and so they could go down that modular route. And even though, the existing action camera mods have not been super popular from DJI and Insta360, it could be that if GoPro does it and gets it right, that sets the new standard for action cameras. Kind of like how, when Apple iPhones come out with a certain design, everybody else hops on board. That could be the case if GoPro can get modular action cameras right. And the final thing that they mentioned on this call is that soon we'll be seeing new cloud capabilities as well as a new subscription-based desktop application. And so that's really exciting news because they've essentially stopped supporting and updating that desktop app. And instead, they've been focusing on the GoPro Quick app, which is for smartphone use. And personally, I did a video deep diving into the Quick app if you want to learn more about how to use it, but I don't get a lot of value out of it for my editing needs. I prefer to edit my videos on my computer. And so I'd love to see a newer version of the GoPro desktop app, and it sounds like we'll be seeing that really soon. So when can we expect to see these new GoPro cameras? Well, again, we don't have anything confirmed, but we can assume that we'll be seeing something in the fall. GoPro tends to make their new product announcements around September, with the release coming in October. So I assume that we'll have an announcement around then, but we'll probably be seeing more announcements spread out throughout the year, either this year or maybe even next year, because 4 cameras is a lot to announce at once. But now I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. What kind of features would you want to see in brand new GoPro cameras? And if there are 4 derivatives coming out, what kind of models would be the most helpful for you? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you want more videos like this or more tips and tricks for GoPros such as this one. We'll see you in the next video.